reach them. Her power to
Yeah, I didn't private it. 111-hour streams. After a certain time limit, they don't allow it to be re-uploaded to YouTube or some shit like that. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong about that. I distinctly remember the Lo-Fi Girls stream being on YouTube and it being like 1,000 hours, something crazy. But I can't remember. I don't know. I don't think I privated it though. Don't call me a fucking pig boy though, jackass.
help. Privately, she has her doubts. Should the Romans reach them, her power to help might be limited. Unlike the other Celtic tribes, Roman legions have no regard for the Druids' sacred role as peacemakers. Before going to bed, she observes the course of the planets and consults her charts, trying to make sense of the meteor she saw earlier. The signs are converging on a larger threat than their neighbors. Fast forward over 100 years into the future and slip into a Roman teenager's sandals with this video.
Yeah, no, Caesar was they were all just fucking, ancient Romans were just going everywhere, dude. They were just going everywhere. See, this is more like it. This is more like it. You see Celtic myth and stuff, and then you see here, you see this right here.
Form bighorns.
Look, you see
from
right
which
here, this is more like it. This is more like it. Red hair. This is more like it. When you're going to depict Celtic redheads, depict them, okay? Don't make them all blonde and black-haired. That was not how they were described. They were not described that way. So it makes it inaccurate. Again, this is what happens when you give YouTubers and animators with low not intelligence, but low. They don't have they have a low level of knowledge, a limited knowledge on this kind of history and the people and how they were described. They don't bother researching. They're just like, oh yeah, well I mean, white people, they were white, so you know, blondes, brunette, black, blonde, you know, whatever, black hair, maybe some reds, you know, just because like you know today there's redheads are such a minority. They were probably a minority back then. Even though if they bothered actually fucking doing research, that magical word, research, they would come across, oh I don't know, descriptions about the Celtic people, you know, the tribes of Germany being all redheaded and blue-eyed. Why would Tacitus write that? Why would not only Tacitus write that, but multiple, tons of other ancient historians also write that there were so many redheads. They were everywhere. And what happened to redheads? Show me all the redheads in Germany now. Show me all the redheads. Where did the Roman Empire stop expanding? Anyone in the live chat know that answer? I'm curious if anyone knows that answer. I've showed it to you before, like a good teacher. And I'm not making it up. You can Google it yourself. None of this is confirmation bias. The Roman Empire, at its greatest extent, looked like this, more or less. And you will notice how all of this corner of northwestern Europe, this kind of region here, France, Germany, and all that, is all just taken over, even Britannic England. Okay? That is Britain at the height of the Roman Empire. Okay? Yes, that's correct, Bugle. Hadrian's Wall. Yes, Hadrian's Wall. There's actually two walls. This is the frequency of redheads in Europe. Does anyone notice anything? It's dark down in Italy. It's dark down in Italy, but the further you go up, the lighter you get. The lighter you get, the redder you get. And where is that? What is that right there? What is that right there? I'm zooming in, so it might be a little pixelated. That's the same area. Interesting. Isn't that odd? It's almost exactly the same area. The frequency of red hair in Europe almost exactly lines up with the modern day of redheads in Europe. Almost lines up with the ancient, the expansion coming to an end of the Roman Empire. Isn't that interesting? Does nobody find that interesting? Or is it just me? Anyone here got a big enough brain to think, maybe there's something to that? Anyone here at all? Noticing anything at all? We have any noticers in the live chat? Noticing anything at all interesting about that? Let me show you the other one here. This is the distribution of Celtic speakers. The dark green, of course, representing the area with the most Celtic speakers today. Anyone notice anything interesting? Completely separate maps, by the way. Talking about completely separate things. Anyone notice anything at all? Anyone notice anything at all? Nothing sticking out to you guys? Nothing seeming to be correlated at all? Nothing at all. Nothing standing out? Nothing? No? Just morons in my live chat? Is it just stupid people watching? Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not paying much attention to the live chat. I'm just showing y'all how wrong you are and why I am an original thinker. Drawing original conclusions that, while not mainstream, seem to be quite possible. And it deserves a deeper look. Nobody noticed anything about that at all. Nobody. The Roman Empire at its greatest extent, more or less, the frequency of red hair in Europe, and the modern day Celtic speakers. So, again, you know, you can ignore what I'm saying all you want. Maybe you don't care. And I would guess that many of you don't give a shit. And that's again why I really shouldn't waste my time arguing or debating with you or listening to you people when you say you're white, you're a dummy, because you're actually not that smart. Okay? So yeah, there's that. Lord of Cum, that's their username. Lord of Cum says, what if Tacitus had achromatopsia, I guess, and was totally colorblind? Is there a possibility he was mistaken about the redheads? What if they were all blondes or brunettes? You know, as I said, as I said, there are not just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's many descriptions from many reputable sources of ancient history, people taking down descriptions of things. Many people describe the redheads, the Celts, as being redheaded. Okay? As I said, Cleopatra, right there, the red hair of the Germanic tribes. I mean, this is Cleopatra. She also states that red hair became something of a fashion statement in Cleopatra's Alexandria, writing, "The red hair of the Germanic tribes conquered by Caesar were particularly prized." She also mentions that during a feast put on by Cleopatra, there were staff in attendance with hair so fair that, in quotes, Caesar said he had never seen hair so red in the Rhine country. Livy on the Gauls, their tall stature, their long red hair, their huge shields. Okay, again, you can go on. Tacitus on the inhabitants of Britain, the red hair and large limbs of the inhabitants. Seneca on the Germans, again, another example of people of that time writing about the German people. Again, the color of them, nor is red hair tied up in a knot, a peculiarity among the Germans. It's not. And these aren't even just the few examples here, by the way. There's many, many, many more. And again, you can even see actual bog bodies, mummies preserved in the bogs, red hair. You can go and see these in person, apparently, and see an ancient Irish Celt who died over 2,000 years ago. That last sentence there, with red hair. I mean, again, almost all trace of red hair was lost in southeastern Europe due to the high number of dark-haired people brought by the long wave of invasions to the region over the last 5,000 years. 5,000 years. A lot can change in a 1,000 years. A lot can change in 100 years. Look what happened in North America when the white settlers came. Over just a few hundred years. Now take that few 100-year time period. Imagine a few 1,000 years. So my point is that I believe that there was once a race of red-headed people. You can call them the Celtic tribes that comprised of, lots of Europe, mostly northwestern Europe, and they were driven out. Their numbers dwindled due to the many invasions of other people, Romans, Italians, and the Greeks and all that stuff. Vikings, of course, Swedish people, Nordic people, blonde. So you got your blondes, you got your brunettes, your dark-haired people, olive-skinned people in the south, like Italy. And this is why, when they all intermix across 1,000 years, you get your modern-day white people who can tan. You might have a little bit of ginger in your beard, but you can tan. This is genetics. These are different, just over time. So it's you guys just don't get it, They were not all blonde and brunettes, okay? Garage Lad, again, this will help you with your denial. Again, this is a random ignorant person on YouTube, I'm assuming, making a quick little YouTube short with 31 likes. Why should I give a shit about, why should I care about one person's opinion who I'm assuming is uneducated on this very specific subject matter? Again, ginger white people are not black. Again, we're not white. So right away, that tells me you have a lack of knowledge on that subject. And the whole thing where we're not black, hey, dumbasses, no one is actually thinking that ginger people are black. We're not literally black. Don't be such a fucking dipshit. It is meme culture. It's meant to be provocative. It's meant to be like a meme, like a joke, like done in jest. Gingers are not literally black. It's more like redheads and black people are kind of kindred spirits because we have both. I'm gonna get what I said out. It's because we have both gone through, suffering due to the way we look. We have been marginalized. We have been discriminated against. So we have things in common that other groups might not. So there's a kindred spirit there. Not that there's a kindred spirit there, but do you understand what I'm trying to say? Anyway, maybe you don't. Again, I'm not, I'm not calling you guys stupid, but this is just like a random YouTube short. And you linked me this, Garage Law, saying, again, this will help with your denial. You probably found this in like 5 seconds, YouTube searching, gingers are not black. Like, you're such an idiot, dude. This is the IQ that I'm arguing with, the level of intelligence. There's no real research. Well, let me show you this YouTube. I found this YouTube video uploaded by Alec something 444 a few days ago. It's got 31 likes and 21 comments. Let me tell you why you're not black. Like, are you fucking stupid? Are you like that dumb, Garage Lad?
Black people. Gingers are not black.
Oh, really?
I like their hair. They are not black.
I like their hair, but they're not black. Okay.
I like their accent. They are not black.
I don't want to be
I like
black.
when they do that jig.
I don't want to be black. I don't want to be black. I'm happy. I'm proud to be ginger. I'm proud to be a Celtic American. I'm not an African American. I'm a Celtic American, and I'm very proud of that. Just like you should be proud to be African American. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, these are goofballs, taking things way too seriously. It's not meant to be that fucking deep.
So jig they be doing. They are not black.
Like he's showing love, but like it's like, you know what I mean? It's just, this is goofy.
They got freckles. They are not black.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
They like hip hop. They are not black.
Okay, thanks for.
I hope this helps.
Yeah, thanks for telling me that, guy. I really needed to hear that. Fucking goofball. I didn't really need to hear that because I already know that gingers are not black. But anyway, we still love black people though. PearlCab donated to, or super chatted to, and said, "Yeah, a race between ogres and orangutans." No, wrong, idiot, wrong. And then they super chatted to again, and then they said, "If Kubi grew out his hair, he'd look like the clown emoji." No, I would not look like the fucking clown emoji, dumbass. Lord Akon donated to and said, "Didn't hear the other sources you were speaking on. My apologies." And right away, just apologizing earns you respect. That's a respectful thing to do. Oh, I didn't see the other sources you were speaking on as well, besides Tacitus, as he mentioned in his previous comment. My apologies. Sidetrack. Fun fact. Did you know that urine of ginger boys was prized in medieval Europe for making stained glass? I actually did not know that, and I'm going to look that up right now because there's not really much. Well, I don't want to say that because I don't want to be ignorant. I was going to say there's not much I don't know about ginger people and their history. I'm sure I don't know a lot of things, but I'm always happy to learn. That's the difference between a lot of the clowns and I, is that if I don't know something, like just now, I'll be like, I didn't know that. I'm going to look that up right now, and I will add that to my kind of database of knowledge that I can pull from, and I remember, and I try to. Oh, did you know? Fun fact: the ginger boys, their piss was used for stained glass. Like, that's crazy. I've never heard of that. But yeah, thank you for the donation. Thank you for the apology. Apology accepted. No worries. I still don't like your name. Lordicum is a very weird thing to say out loud. Not a fan of saying that. I would love it if you changed your name, to something besides Lord of Cum. That's Lord of Cums is a very weird, it's a gross name. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Also, CUM. Yeah, don't put a CUM in the live. Do not put a CUM in the live chat, please. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of things that back up my claim. I have to look this up now. I'm gonna use ChatGPT. I'm gonna have to Google this. I'm gonna have to use ChatGPT. I'm not gonna Google this on my computer. Was ginger boys' urine used in medieval? Rockstar said to be working on a medieval style video game after GTA 6. Used in medieval Europe for making stained glass. There's a persistent myth floating around that ginger boys' urine was specifically used in medieval Europe to make. There's no solid historical evidence to support this claim. Where the myth comes from, stained glass artisans in medieval Europe did use urine in certain processes. particularly in mixing chemicals or creating specific colors like silver stain used for yellow hues. Urine was valued because of its ammonia content, which acted as a solvent or helped helped bind, B-I-N-D, not B-L-I-N-D, but B-I-N-D, helped bind pigments. Young boys' urine, especially from those with a supposedly purer diet or untainted by alcohol, was sometimes preferred? That's weird. But not specifically redheads. Why the ginger boy detail? That part likely comes from a blend of romanticized or exaggerated ideas about redheads having magical or alchemical properties. There's a lot of people that think that shit about redheads, that were magical. And while you could take that as a compliment, it has caused us a lot of grief in the past. You know, I have alluded to a term being worse than the word ginger, as like the ultimate kind of slur for ginger people. And I don't want to say this, but I'll just tell you, it's a word that I find very offensive if used in a mean context because of the history behind it. You should never call ginger women or men. You should not call them witches. You should never call... I mean, you can call them witches, but like... lots of redheads were killed. Specifically redheaded people. They were called witches, and they were murdered, burned, killed, brutally murdered. And if we were going to have a term that was close to like the N-word for black people,